Hey everyone, you're tuned into InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy. Join us as we talk about anything.
And everything.
All the stuff that makes life interesting.
So let's get to it.
Hey, hon. You know what holiday's right around the corner?
Christmas?
No, that one just went by.
Halloween?
Closer than that.
Our son's birthday?
Think red, think hearts, think love.
The Corvette convention?
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm just making it up. I think if I remember, if I really rack my brain and think about what it is, is it Valentine's Day?
Of course, it's okay. Valentine's Day. This episode is all about Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Surprise.
Do you feel Cupid pulling back that bow, everybody? Because if you don't, you should now. Yeah. This whole podcast, I'm just going to talk like Barry White.
You researched this one, right?
Barry White.
You're ready for this one, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. All right. This is Amy.
I'm Jeff.
And welcome to InfoQuench.
And welcome to InfoQuench.
And we are going to... Are you really going to talk
No,
like that
I won't. I'll stop now.
I mean, I think it's really sexy and everything. It might grate on our listeners' nerves as they...
Isn't that what Valentine's Day is about?
They reach minute
Talking
7.
Sexy.
Is that what it's about?
I don't know. Maybe it is.
It is for some, perhaps.
Maybe it is for Barry White.
I do like a good Barry White song.
All right. Well, name one.
I'm going to end up naming something by Al Green.
Oh, Al Green. That's a good tune.
I get those two confused.
Okay.
They both have the deep, awesome
You're so funny
Valentine's Eve voice. I know
it cracks me up. Okay.
All right. Actually, before we get into Valentine's Day, I just want to do a quick little sidebar on what we're watching.
Oh, yeah. We were watching some pretty cool shows.
Yeah. So one of the shows we recently started watching, it's been on Netflix for a little while, but it's called The Worst. The Worst? No. There's a Freudian slip for you. It's The World's Most Extraordinary Homes.
Yeah. Most Extraordinary Homes.
Yes, they're British hosts.
Yeah.
She's an actress. He's an architect. And there are so many shows out there on, these luxury houses and properties, but this one is very different.
They do it well.
It's very focused around the architecture, and I find the homes, they don't really get into the price or anything of that nature. It's more about, how did they actually go about building the home, and there's a real respect for the landscape,
they really
the geography,
focus on sustainability for sure. It's amazing. It is a really great show, and Amy and I play this little game when we watch each episode where we have to pick one home that is our favorite that we would, in a perfect world, have as our own.
Yes. Yes, where they'd have to twist our rubber arm to live in any of those.
Mm-hmm.
No, but there are some, oh my goodness, there's some beautiful homes. There's actually one from Nova Scotia that's featured. If you do decide to watch the first season, episode 3, there's a home in Nova Scotia.
It's a beautiful home too. It's, oh man, it's incredible. It's incredible some of these homes that people build. And they just were, it's definitely an opulence thing. I mean, these people have money. But
to carry out that build would cost a lot. But what I love about it is a lot of times when people have money, what you'll see on those shows is they'll just do a clear cut, start with a clean slate, and then build whatever they want in terms of the house that they have in their mind for the house of their dreams. But this is very much they have to adapt if it's on a mountain, if they're building around trees, and
they're building. I love that they actually plotted out where the trees were and built the house around the trees. It was amazing. I'm not really giving anything away because you don't know what house I'm talking about.
Oh, well, there's several properties that do that, I think, and some of them by necessity because they're in beautiful landscapes that are but they're protected, their environmental protection on the different plant life. And anyways, I just wanted to put that as a side. We like to talk about what we're watching just in case you're,
it's a great show.
Searching for something on Netflix.
I love that home that it was one we watched quite recently where the windows were actually like placed so that they look like paintings when you look through them.
Every view was like a painting.
That is just so amazing. And with the rock inside, oh my. Okay, anyways, there's so many great like buildings and architecture that you will just like fall in love with. So watch the show. the world's most extraordinary homes on Netflix.
All right. Now on to Valentine's Day. So I did some research. The History Channel actually had some great information, and so I got a lot of this from the History Channel.
Wow, they're not in the Bering Sea catching snow crab?
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, I know. I know you do.
But
it's so funny though, because you can watch the History Channel and hardly any of it has anything to do with history. And then you can watch like the Discovery Channel and you're not discovering anything. It's so weird. Anyways.
Well, this little bit is a bit about history, and it's the history of St. Valentine's Day, which I think probably most people know it's actually named after a Christian martyr, St. Valentine. And it dates back to the 5th century. But it actually has its origins in a bloody pagan festival.
Bloody?
Apparently the Valentine's Day was a Christian effort to replace this pagan fertility festival called Lupercalia.
Lupercalia.
And that
Lupercalia.
Yeah, so they were I had to Google how to actually say it, and there's some people say Lupercalia, some people say Lupercalia.
Lupercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
It's a festival from the 6th century BC, so I don't really know how they pronounced it back then.
Yeah.
They'd have that ancient accent.
They probably said it exactly the way I did.
I would
because
think so.
It's a blood
you
festival.
You sounded like Satan when you said it.
Lupercalia.
You sounded more like it was like Lucifer festival.
Here's your Valentine.
Yeah.
Lupercalia.
Now that people have tuned out.
No, they haven't. They haven't. They're right there.
Tune back in, bringing it back in. So during that particular bloody pagan festival, Roman priests would sacrifice goats and dogs, and they would use their blood-soaked hides to slap women on the streets.
That sounds so romantic.
As a fertility blessing. It was supposed
What?
Right.
Are you serious?
And then women would later put their names in an urn, and it would be selected by a man, and they would be paired with that man for a year.
A year?
Yes.
Just to
procreate, I guess.
Copulate and have. Wow, really? That's great.
That's apparently according to the History Channel.
And what year was this?
They don't lie.
Was this last year?
This is last year.
That's insane.
That's how rumors get started.
It's insane. Like people complain about a lot of things that happen in modern day, but look, take a look back. Look at what Attila the Hun did.
Oh, I know. There's some.
Anyway,
there's some pretty
crazy
stuff
though.
That's happened in history.
I bet you a lot of our listeners didn't know that. I didn't know that.
That's like light stuff. That's light stuff for stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
Blood-soaked hides. They've done far worse.
I love that. They slapped the women with blood-soaked hides.
Yeah. I don't know how that actually looked. Like, was it like, were they little strips of the blood-soaked and they just like gave them a little slap on the wrist? Or were they like great big...
I don't know. That's amazing to me.
I'd like to see an image of... I don't actually want to see an image of this. This next little Valentine's Day fact, I guess, is I found this one really interesting. It's around the tradition of writing letters addressed to Juliet.
From Shakespeare?
Yes. So every year, thousands of romantics send letters to Verona, Italy, and they address them to Juliet, of Romeo and Juliet. And of course, Verona is the location of the Shakespearean tale. Mm-hmm. And the letters are answered by a whole team of volunteers from the Juliet Club.
Oh, wild.
And they actually choose a winner. And they call them they award the Cara Giulietta, which means the Dear Juliet Prize, to the author with the most touching love letter.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's the prize is mainly just the honor of having written that letter.
Okay.
Little mic adjustment there.
Little mic adjustment.
They also get a pen.
Oh, they get a pen.
And wine. And bragging rights, apparently.
Oh.
If you want to read all about it, JulietClub.com has all the details.
I wonder if a lot of the letters get a little steamy to Juliet.
Perhaps like letters writing to Penthouse?
Well, no, I was thinking that maybe someone's writing in to say that they want to slap her with a hide full of blood and...
Oh my God!
Can you imagine? I'm just joking.
This Valentine's episode has gone astray.
Well, I'm still floored by that. I'm still floored by that they thought that was an interesting thing to do.
So Juliet Club's actually been around since the 1930s. So
that's
long-standing tradition in Verona, Italy.
Can you sample some of the letters, I wonder? So you must go to this website and you can read some of them.
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think so.
We'll have to do that. Never.
I popped onto the website, but I didn't dive in too deeply. But
Okay.
yeah. Box of chocolates is obviously one of the common gifts that is given at Valentine's Day. And it was actually started, that whole tradition of giving a box of candy or chocolates was started in the 19th century by Richard Cadbury.
No way.
Of the British chocolate manufacturing family. So they had recently developed a new technique so that they could create more varieties of chocolates, like all the different
So they could put
flavors.
the
And
fillings
they
in.
basically capitalized on the holiday and used it to sell their new chocolates.
Wow.
That's a great marketing strategy, though.
Yeah. I wonder, I was just thinking back to the hides. I was wondering, I was wondering if that's why everything's red for Valentine's Day.
Oh, perhaps.
You know? Interesting.
It could be.
Could give all those red hearts a different
Bloody
meaning.
hearts.
Well,
I guess the actual heart is bloody, right? Because it's inside our body.
Okay. Anyway.
More about that later. Vinegar Valentines.
I never heard of this in my life.
During the Victorian era, people who didn't want attention from certain suitors would anonymously send them vinegar valentines. So this is according to the Smithsonian. These cards, also called penny dreadfuls.
Penny dreadfuls.
Penny dreadfuls. They were the antithesis of customary valentines, and they would comically insult and reject unwanted admirers.
Comically reject unwanted
I just picture a bunch of women sitting around making these, like having a glass of wine and writing these vinegar valentines and just like, oh, listen, this is what I'm going to write on this one to this guy.
I'm noticing all these negative connotations attached to Valentine's Day.
I know.
It's really interesting because you didn't really expect that. I expected it to be all love and happiness, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I'm pleasantly surprised though, because it makes it much more exciting.
Well, the next little tidbit is around sweethearts. Candies. You know, those little tart things with the messages on them? They actually started out as lozenges, which I thought lozenges only meant, like, I thought cough drops when I read that. But apparently lozenge is actually the shape. It's like a diamond or rhombus shape is lozenge shape. That's why they call them throat lozenges. So the lozenge is actually, and I have a really hard time saying that word.
You do. You've been saying it.
It's like genre. I have certain words that I can't.
I love how you say it French. You say it in the French.
It's hard to not say
genre.
Lozenges.
What genre is that book?
So back to the sweetheart candies, those iconic chalky heart-shaped candies. So according to Food Business News,
I never liked them. Anyway.
No, I don't like them either. Kind of make the inside of my mouth hurt if I eat too many of them. Maybe the problem was I ate too many of them.
And they're very similar to the little rockets.
Rockets at Halloween.
Okay, yeah. They're just cut down. Okay,
You're
continue.
right. That's the exact same. Yep. Good call.
Yeah.
So according to Food Business News, pharmacist and inventor Oliver Chase created a machine that would quickly cut out lozenges. So from wafer candy. So you'd have great big sheets of candy and it would cut it into these lozenge shapes. So that was the original sweetheart candy.
What kind of shapes were they? Lozenge.
Shut up.
Okay, sorry.
Diamond shapes.
Yeah.
They're originally in a diamond shape. Then Chase's brother came up with the idea of printing messages on the candy in 1866.
1866? That's a long time ago.
And they were often used for weddings, and they had witty sayings on them like, married in pink, he will take a drink, or married in white, you have chosen right.
He will take a drink.
Or married in satin, love will not be lasting.
Oh, wow.
That's not a very nice thing to have at your wedding.
But now what do they say? They just say, I choose you. And
I know. Well, that's, yes, that would be a typical. So then the candies got their heart shape in 1901. So it wasn't until 1901 that they moved from a diamond to a heart shape, appealing specifically to Valentine's Day sweethearts. And then, this is interesting, in 2019, the whole sweetheart brand of conversation hearts, as they became known, had to suspend for a year because they were purchased by a new company, Spangler Candy Company, and they needed time to make a supply. and do the whole transition. So
wow, there was no like disturbance in the force when they weren't there.
Well, there was 1 year. 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. I know.
So if last year, if you
people need their sweetheart
tried to get
candies.
your candies, there might have been a supply shortage. Although I have a feeling it's like Easter candies. I think the stores just store them away in some warehouse, and you're getting rabbits that have been sitting back there for months.
That's right.
Or years, really.
Yeah, probably.
You're probably getting like last year's chocolate rabbits out on the shelf again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They probably
don't-
freeze them, maybe. They freeze those rabbits.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
Cupid
I still eat them,
began
though.
as a Greek god.
Cupid was a Greek god?
Yeah, before he was renamed Cupid, he was actually one of the ancient Greeks known as Eros,
Yes.
the god of love. He was the son of Aphrodite. And he would use 2 sets of arrows, one for love and another for hate, to play with the emotions of his targets. Kind of like Vinegar Valentines.
Yeah.
It wasn't until stories of his mischief were told by Romans that he adopted the childlike appearance that we recognize today. You know, the cherub look.
Yeah,
And then became Cupid.
with a diaper.
You know how we write the letter X to mean a kiss? Like we do
Yes,
X's
XO.
and O's, hugs and kisses.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be O's and X's because the O is the hug and the X is the kiss.
Oh, I never remembered which was which. I just always added them together.
Someone told me once that the O was the hug because if you circle your arms around somebody, it would be like making an O to embrace them.
That makes sense.
And then according to the Washington Post, the X came to represent Christianity or the cross in the Middle Ages. And then during the same time, the symbol was used to sign off on documents. So after marking with an X, the writer would often kiss the mark as a sign of their oath. So the gesture grew among kings and commoners that they would certify books, letters, and paperwork by marking an S and then kissing it. And these records were described as having been sealed with a kiss.
Oh,
And that's how the X became known to mean a kiss.
And we just automatically just use X's and O's without even really thinking about where it originated. And now we know because of InfoQuench podcast.
Right.
Remember that, people, when you're walking around and you're writing letters, because people walk around and write letters.
I don't know where the whole O's, like XOs writing, I don't know where the O's part came from. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up.
And then there's also the game X's and O's.
That's true.
So what's that about?
Tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe. Oh, that's,
Tic-tac-toe.
yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
Well, how did it get that name, though? Tic-tac-toe. See, there's so much information to give to people. There's no end to the podcast that we can do.
That good thing that there's InfoQuench, so you'll have to tune in for further episodes where we'll give you some answers to those many, many questions you have.
Drop us a line on any of the social media platforms.
But not on our phone because we don't have one. Well, we have phones, but we don't have an InfoQuench phone line.
Oh, no. Okay.
We said drop us a line.
Okay.
It's very much a throwback to
Yeah, I'm showing my age, I guess.
landline days.
Yeah.
According to Time magazine,
Mm-hmm.
this is how the shape of the heart became. So if you think about an actual human heart, it is not in the shape of the heart that we draw, right?
It's ventricles and...
So the heart shape didn't mean love. Oh, then that's the other part, is how did the heart itself come to mean love? Like, why do we associate heart with love?
Right, and we do.
We do, absolutely. So it didn't mean love until really the 13th or 14th century. And it was the idea of romantic love that began to take shape during the medieval period. And that's when the symbolism started. So people thought of hearts back then as books of memory. They believed that the feelings for the beloved, in this case God, were written on our heart. So there were stories of female saints whose hearts are said to have been cut open after their death, and inside their hearts are inscriptions indicating their love for God or Jesus. So if you think about the idea of a human heart, if you were to cut it in half and open it up like a book, it would give you more of the traditional heart shape that we draw.
It's true. It would. I see that now.
Other things, other speculations are that the shape actually came from an illustration that was done to accompany an Italian poem. So there was an Italian poem written, Documenti d'Amore.
Mm-hmm.
And after its publication, a scalloped heart, the one with the bumps on the top, began appearing in other works, like in visual art and in tapestries around that time. Artists were just sort of drawing that design. So
it spread from there.
About 150 years later, the tapestry known as the Gift of the Heart, a tapestry known as the Gift of the Heart, now in the Louvre, depicted a man holding a small red heart.
Oh.
So you can actually see that at the
shape.
Louvre, that tapestry.
We were there.
And at
we
that
didn't see
point,
it.
the heart had taken its shape and had also come to mean love.
Interesting.
So there's also discussion around, the fact that there are some animals, some other species, not humans, that have hearts that are more in the shape of the heart as we draw it.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be what people would be more familiar with, because they weren't really, dissecting human bodies at that time, but they would be more apt to see other species' hearts. So they would draw a heart as they saw it in other species. So I don't know too many details around that. Obviously, it was.
Well, it's also like it's an undeniable universal shape. If you drew a heart, it could never mean anything other than what it does. So it's definitely grown from that painting and those depictions from way, 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 way back into what it is. It's interesting.
Yes, it is. It's interesting too, the idea that artists start to use certain styles, certain patterns, certain symbols, and then they start to become associated
with something completely different.
A poem is written about love, and then an artist depicting the poem through illustration uses a certain symbol, and all of a sudden that symbol becomes
love.
Love.
The symbol for love.
Right.
Can you think of any other symbol for love other than the heart?
No.
Yeah. So, and I will point out too that the heart also looks like a bum.
That's right, honey.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It does.
It's like,
and that's very Valentine's Day
it's like
too.
a bum upside down.
Yeah.
Just like a smile is a frown turned upside down.
Yeah. A bum and then like a drop of blood maybe towards the bottom. You know what I mean? How it goes to a point. It's red. So yeah. Anyways, what's the next thing?
Just another little historical tidbit from the History Channel about wearing your heart on your sleeve.
Ah, yes.
So if you remember back to that wonderful festival.
Oh, what was the name of it again?
The
Lupercalia
festival, and where the men would draw names of women out of an urn, and they would be paired with that woman.
These poor women.
Well, apparently, they would draw the names of several women, and after they drew them, they would actually pin them to their sleeves. So they would have the list of names on their sleeves of the women that they would be paired with for the upcoming year.
They were bored back then.
Yeah.
I just reminded myself of Jim Gaffigan.
You did sound like Jim Gaffigan.
They were bored back then.
They were bored.
Oh, is he crazy?
They put a lot of work into this whole festival.
Yeah, there's a lot, yeah.
They must not have had Tinder.
It sounds to me though like the women got the crappy end of the stick here.
Well, pretty much for until very recent times that was the case.
Yeah.
And even still, in some cases to this day.
To this day, I cannot understand why women don't make as much as men in the same job. That is beyond me. I'm just putting that out there.
One of life's many, many.
Man.
So, yeah. Back in the 6th century BC, it was even a harder situation. That kind of hits all of my historical points. I was looking at just popular gifts to give for Valentine's this season.
Right.
And one of the interesting, clever little... Just give me the... These aren't like hints for gifts. We actually don't even buy each other gifts.
No, we stopped doing that.
Yes, we usually plan a nice night out, and by the way, if you're listening to this episode and you haven't made a dinner reservation for Valentine's, time to get on it and get your dinner reservation done, because those restaurants book up quickly.
East Coast Bistro, that's where we're going.
Yes, here in St. John, New Brunswick, we've got some amazing restaurants. So
we love that restaurant. We love many restaurants, but we really love East Coast Bistro.
Yes.
Fantastic chefs.
We have so many great ones to check out here.
I've had meals there where they were so good that I went back and thanked the chefs and said, that was an amazing meal.
I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I had to do it. It was so good.
So if you don't have your dinner reservation done and you're planning a night out with your significant other, or just by yourself or just with your friends, do it up. Make a reservation.
Time's a wasting.
So one of the popular gifts is weighted blankets are huge this year.
You want a weighted blanket, honey?
I might.
Yeah, I know they are huge.
I might just order one for myself.
How about we just take all the blankets in the house and then just put them all together and put them on the bed?
There's something about it. Well, these weighted blankets
I'll duct tape them along the perimeter, and then
that sounds lovely. Lovely. Very.
What's that saying? If women can't find you handsome, they can at least find you handy, or something like that. Yeah, red, something green. Like that.
Well done. Well done.
I'm not handy though.
That's why quilts are so great, right? The weight of a blanket on you, but these weighted blankets are supposed to give people comfort, and the people who have even just anxiety, and that sort of thing, they're supposed to be comforting, and just extra warm and cozy.
Well, that coupled with the heated blanket would be bliss.
Oh, yeah, heated blankets are also where it's at. We just like blankets. The other cool little idea that I saw, and I thought that I really like this, and this is something that you could do together as a couple. But what I saw was that you could buy it online. It's just basically it's a canister with a bunch of popsicle sticks in it.
Yeah.
Very well decorated though. So you could Pinterest. You could tell how much I use Pinterest.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
What you do is you just put a bunch of popsicle sticks into a jar or a can. And at the end of each popsicle stick on it, you just write a different date night idea.
Okay.
So then
it's like the book, the Jar of Awesome.
Yeah, sort of. So as you're going out on date nights throughout the course of the year, you draw out a popsicle stick and it might say, dinner or a movie or, picnic at the park. But the idea is, what I'm thinking would be a really great idea is you just do it, together on Valentine's Day. Write down some of the ideas that you would love to do for date nights over the course of the year. Yeah. And that way, you put them in and you just randomly pick them, and then each of you kind of get to do.
Can I hit you with bloody pelts?
I don't think that'll fit on a popsicle stick.
Yes, it will. I'll make sure it does. I'm just joking. No, it's. I'm joking, everybody. By the way, out there listening, I'm only joking.
Yeah, if you don't know Jeff's sixth sense of humor, he is definitely joking.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Or another thing that you could do if you so inclined. There's a brand spanking new business here in St. John, New Brunswick called the Art Warehouse. I mean, this is a local thing, so if you're not in St. John, just tune out or whatever. But you can always
visit us in St. John.
You could always come and visit us in St. John too. Anyways, Art Warehouse where you can just go with your love and you can make a painting together. I don't think they allow you to get naked there, but it's an amazing spot.
Yes, amazing local entrepreneur Hazel Cochran opened up recently, and it's great. They supply everything you need. So canvases, paints, smocks. Yeah,
if you ask her nicely, she might allow you to get naked. You never know.
Great.
You could paint one another.
Coffee and lattes and beautiful space, amazing vibe.
But it's a really nice. It's a nice thing.
Very romantic thing to do. Good call.
They supply all of the supplies if you want. You get the canvas and the paints, or you can bring your own canvas and your own paints, and it's only $5 an hour. So I mean, it's great.
Yeah, so for any date night, that would be a cool idea, and you could just collaborate even on a painting.
Or you can bring your kid.
Remember that crazy show we watched where they painted a canvas with their bodies?
Yeah.
Couples did?
Yeah, I do remember that.
You can't do that at the Art Warehouse, but they...
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Basically what they did is they stripped off and they did a giant canvas with their bodies, and they would hang it up in their house to commemorate the experience.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that at home. I'll just stretch a canvas.
Sounds kind of messy.
Yeah, it does. Never mind. I'll just hit you with a pelt, a bloody one.
Yeah, definitely less messy.
I don't know.
Well, whatever you decide to do for Valentine's Day or your date nights throughout the year, we hope you have a good February 14th, everybody. Write
Yeah.
that on the calendar, February 14th.
February 14th.
That's
and
the
remember, what's the name of that? What's the name of that? I can't remember. Lavas Studios Day.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Bye-bye.
Do you remember? Okay, bye-bye, everybody. See ya. Thanks for listening.
And remember, you can catch up on past episodes at infoquench.com.
Or just about anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And help spread the word about InfoQuench.
Till next time.